We're looking here at a STIHL 026 non-pro version, and we're going to talk about a little conversion that I did today. I actually did it here a while back, but we're going to talk about this today. What I did is I converted it from the old style air filter box and air filter to the newer 260 Pro type air filter and air filter box. I mean, these right here, the 026, I mean, that's, one of your more popular and, fine saws that still built. They're, of course, they're commercial, pro grade saw. But my one complaint about it compared to other saws I have is that I would go to use it and that air filter right there would just fill up, I mean, real quick with dust. I mean, you'd have to, if you was using it all day long, you'd have to, clean it, 2-3 times a day. And I got to think, well, maybe that's because this old style box, has this vent that's open all the time, versus the newer 260 Pro type box, which only has, the winter and summer shutter on it. And I got to thinking, well, maybe if it had the later style filter box, maybe it'd run a little cleaner. And I switched it over, and really that's helped two things. For one, you've got a bigger, better filter, more surface area, and it also helps when you go to choke the saw, like on a cold morning, you go to start it up, it also starts better now. And see, with this one right here, so you got the typical 026 filter, got the choke here in the back, but see this one, you choke it and you can still see a gap when it's shut, which means it's not sealing good. And I see this on a lot of these filters right here. This shaft in here, I guess, gets wore and they just don't seal like they should. Versus this 260 Pro filter, now it seals up very tight. If you look at that filter, it seals up really tight, and the choke shutter is a completely different design to what the old filter had. Instead of being flat, it kind of like it comes out to a point, and when you shut it, I mean, it just seals up nice and tight. I mean, you can't see any hole, you can't see any gap anywhere. So what it used to take with this old setup, on a cold morning, you're talking, probably about 6-7 pulls to get it going. Whereas this one right here, switched it over to that, and now about 2 or 3 pulls, I'm off and going. But it also runs much cleaner now because it don't have that open screen all the time. The only time this is open, that's your winter and summer shutter. The only time that's open is, when it's freezing or below, and you just take a screwdriver, pop that out of there, put it right here in this slot. And whereas your old shutter on the 026 used to be right there where you see that screw head right there in that corner of the shroud. And if you convert this over, what you want to do is just pop that shutter out of there like I did. Just pull it out because you don't need that one anymore, because you now have this one. And what else you want to be sure to do is, since this is a 260 Pro filter, you want to be sure to see this raised portion right here on the back of the filter. That is the hole where the plug for the compensating carburetor goes. And if you're running a 260 Pro or 026 Pro type carburetor, that's where the snorkel plugs into that hole on it. And if you're still running a standard carburetor like I am, what you want to do is find you a good plastic plug that fits tight, and then take some type of sealant that will resist gas and vibration, and just put that plug in there, seal it off really good, which is what I did to mine. Left it setting for about a day and it was good to go. But no, you don't have to modify your carburetor studs or anything. I mean, it's just basically a direct bolt on. It goes right on the filter and the box both. And it runs a lot cleaner now than it did. And it starts better on a cold morning. 2 or 3 pulls sounds a lot better than 6. But what you want to be sure of before you go to switch over is you want to be sure you've got this late style tank vent right there. This type of vent right here that's got a foam filter under it. Because if you have this style tank vent, the old one, which is called a tower style vent, it interferes because this filter is wider, and you can see it sets right there, and see it's, by the time it's in here, it's going to be hitting the filter. So if you have the old style vent on your 026 tank, the only thing I know to do is you would just have to switch out the whole tank, you know, the whole housing, the handle housing and everything. You just have to switch the whole one to the style that's got the later type vent. But that vent right there works well with those filters. But now when it comes to these, that right there is what you need. So I mean, switching mine over, I got lucky because mine's a little bit later model 026 and it come with that already. So all I had to do was just, you know, be sure if you're not running that other type of carburetor with the snorkel, just be sure you plug that hole off in the back of the filter, because you don't want any dust getting up in that. But all I had to do was just plug that off, screw the filter right on there. I just pulled the winter summer shutter out of the shroud because there's no need for it anymore since you've got this one. And since I did that, I mean, it runs a lot cleaner. She starts better, and I mean, it took what's already a damn fine saw and made it into an even better saw. You know, I mean, you basically improved a saw that was, you know, that a lot of people I know think you can't improve anymore. I mean, they don't, in my opinion, they don't have the best air filter system from brand new with that setup, but that is easily fixed and easily changed with this 260 Pro setup. And it was something that was just simple to do. It wasn't hard to do, and it only took about, you know, 10 minutes to do it. But I mean, once you switch over to that, you'll get better air filtration, and you'll get, you know, a better starting saw, you know, when it's cold on choke. But no, that right there, that's just a really fine saw, the 026. That's just a really fine saw that's still made there, and that's just a simple little conversion you can do to just improve it just a little further.